Okay, on the one side tonight we have politicians, on the other side we have activists, lawyers, columnists. The politicians on the Newshour tonight are GVL Narsimha Rao of the BJP is for a new parliament building. I don't know why. Sudhindra Bhadoria of the BSP for a new parliament building. Or representing the TRS, AP Jithender Reddy, member of parliament in the Lok Sabha, wants a new parliament building. Against the idea of a new parliament building, Chengal Reddy, president of the Federation of Farmers Associations, Shailesh Gandhi, former CIC, he's an activist, Sanjay Pinto, lawyer and columnist, and M B Rajesh of the CPIM is against the idea of a new parliament building. MB, let me start with you. You're the only politician on the panel, Mr. Rajesh, who's against the idea of a new parliament building. You stand with us tonight. Why are you willing to stand in a minority of one against the idea of a new parliament building?
Yes, this is the rarest opportunity to stand with you. And I agree that there are some constraints and inconveniences related to this current parliament building. But the question is, what should be our priority? Whether building a new parliament house is should be our priority, or strengthening the parliamentary democracy. I think that rather than building a new parliament house, strengthening the parliamentary democracy should be our priority. And now we are witnessing farmer suicide and many other issues, and whether this new parliament building will benefit the those farmers who are committing suicide in Maharashtra and other parts of our country. So we should prioritize our issues, and we don't think that the priority should be constructing a new parliament house.
Okay, so what's more important, GVL Narsimha Rao, to have a new parliament building or a functioning parliament?
I think, Arnab, it's quite fashionable to really whip up anti-politician sentiments, and for some political leaders to come on programs like yours and then show as if they are more concerned about farmer issues, and the dispensation at the center or in the states is not concerned about them. This is
so you're saying Rajesh is trying to be fashionable.
Hypocrisy.
You're saying Rajesh is trying to be fashionable?
No,
you're calling Rajesh a hypocrite?
No, I'm saying for the media.
Because he disagrees with you, it becomes a hypocrite.
These are not.
Why is it hypocrisy?
These are not comparables at all. The question whether we need a new parliament building. Nobody is junking existing building of parliament. There is no proposal to junk the existing building. It's certainly an iconic building.
So the proposal is with me.
Continue to remain.
The proposal is with me.
It's a proposal from the speaker, and the proposal is with me. Speaker, please allow me to complete. No. Don't get us.
Well, it's a ridiculous proposal.
Hear other views. It's a
ridiculous proposal. I think Mr. Rao, you'll agree.
Is the building in a dilapidated condition right now to warrant a new building? The question we should ask is whether the existing building is in a dilapidated condition to warrant a new building.
You want me to speak?
Yes, Mr. Rao, do you have an answer?
You want to allow?
That's Sanjay Pinto from Chennai. He's asked.
I think.
No, it's a debate.
I think these are. See, let me make my
open debate. To add here,
then you can go around
I'm
the
in
panel.
a city where people have lost everything. They've lost their homes. The rich, the poor, the middle class. People have lost the roof above their heads. Okay, just 2 weeks ago, people in Chennai have lost everything. Is this the time now to ask for a new building, with all due respect to the parliamentarians, for a requirement that may crop up 10 years from now? People 2 weeks ago in Chennai have lost everything. You are our representatives in parliament. You need to help us. Give us more funds perhaps for the state government to dole out relief. Is this the time really to ask for?
You see, Mr. Rao, one minute,
in Parliament, your performance in Parliament, the number of debates you participate in, the number of questions you ask, the least number of
Sanjay, 1 second.
That should be what you do in Parliament is more important than a building, sir, with all due respect.
Sanjay, I find right on top of Newshour tonight, I find Mr. Rao having an aversion to hard questions on this subject. Now, Mr. Rao, with the greatest of respect to you, your party, the BJP and the government need to understand. I'll tell you why they are comparables. I disagree with you, sir. These are comparables. You are the ruling party of India. You run the government, and we are the taxpayers. And therefore, Mr. Rao, Mr. Rao, hear my perspective. Hear my perspective, and then respond. My point to you. No, my point to you.
88 years.
No, Mr. Rao, nobody is haranguing you. I think the use of the word harangue is not required at this point. Mr. Rao, we are the taxpayers. We need to be told why we should be funding a non-functioning parliament and be told to build a new parliament. New parliament is easily a couple of thousands of crores of rupees. You need to tell us. You may be the government, but you're answerable to us. Why should we fund a new parliament building in the first place when the existing parliament is dysfunctional by your own admission? You need to answer, Mr. Rao. Don't call it a harangue. It is a question.
It is. It is. Please let me make my statement, then you can continue with your discussion. I think it's a proposal number one from the speaker, and this proposal existed long before. The first time this idea was mooted was in 2011. There are a lot of constraints that every party has talked about, and the constraints that parliamentarians and the parliament works under is known. Whether it needs to be done by building an additional structure within the existing premises.
Please explain the constraints.
New premises needs to
please explain the constraints.
All this is.
What are the constraints?
I think you should interview the Speaker of the House. No, I'm not going to tell you everything. If you need to know, please seek a meeting or speak to the Speaker.
Mr. Rao,
the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha, and possibly I will not get into
we the people whom you represent.
This is a proposal that existed long enough.
Mr. Rao, you need to convince us why.
Don't compare it with every other issue and then start.
We will, because the money comes from the taxpayers. And no, it is not a pointless discussion. I want to ask you very clearly, I think your response is rather pointless. What purpose will a new parliament building equipped with the latest of technology serve? Tomorrow I get you a space-age parliament building. Will it ensure that work happens in parliament? That a sense of responsibility grows among members of parliament? That an all-party consensus is built on other issues than doubling the salaries of members of parliament? These are very relevant questions. I do not think you can get away by saying that these are questions which you don't need to concern yourself with. You want a state-of-the-art parliament building, you need to tell us for what, Mr. Narsimha Rao? You need to tell us for what. We are the taxpayers. You need to be responsible to us. Shailesh Gandhi on the other side tonight. Shailesh Gandhi, I think at least from the BJP I'm hearing one simple reply. We are not answerable to you. Shailesh Gandhi.
Was not striking for not having facilities.
Shailesh Gandhi. Shailesh Gandhi is speaking, sir. Shailesh Gandhi, you're the other side.
I think the members of parliament and the speaker have realized.
No, it's not fashionable. It is out of a genuine sense of concern at the way politicians have taken the people of this country for granted, Mr. Rao.
88 years is hardly old unless it's dilapidated.
Mr. Rao, may I please speak?
88 years may be old for a politician.
Yes, please, Shailesh Gandhi. Shailesh Gandhi's turn. Shailesh Gandhi's turn. Yeah, go ahead, Shailesh.
Members of parliament have, I think, realized that their conduct and their actions cannot fit into the beautiful heritage of Indian democracy, and therefore they want to build another building where they can shamelessly continue their shenanigans as before. There is a very important part which you must understand. British Parliament and German Parliament have been around for around 2 centuries, and that is part of the heritage. And I was shocked to see the speaker saying that because this is a heritage building, we need to shift. Because we want to operate paperless offices, we need to shift. My understanding is paperless environment needs lesser space. But I think this is completely bizarre. And I don't know what she meant. You claim you don't know. And let me explain to you, having computers and wires and arranging wires is no big deal today. So let's stop giving such lame excuses. I also heard an argument that number of members of parliament will increase. The constitution, as far as I know, lays down 552 members in the parliament. Unless you are saying you want to amend the constitution. And if you want to amend the constitution in this, in how many other matters do you want to amend? Let's understand, members of parliament are not municipal corporators who have to attend to each locality and constituency. There is a completely different function, and I regretfully state it appears that members of parliament and members of political parties do not seem to understand what is the function of members of parliament.
Suppose I were to say, hey, Mr. Jithender Reddy, let me get you in. And feel free, Chengal Reddy, to come into the debate at any point like Sanjay Pinto did some time back. But let me put this question to you with all sincerity. Suppose, Mr. Jithender Reddy, you are from the TRS. Suppose we, the people of India, gift you a new parliament building. Okay? And suppose, Mr. Jithender Reddy, it is out of Star Trek, it is some new kind of completely green, brand new parliament building that could have, moves out of the space age and comes down to earth. Tell me, if we give you the best of technology, Mr. Jithender Reddy, if we give you, from the moment you walk in till the moment you walk out of parliament, robots all around to help and assist you, tell me, if we give you the best of technology at our fingertips, if the people of Chennai, Mr. Jithender Reddy, watch you do this, as Sanjay Pinto rightly said, they have lost their homes, but they see you fund for yourself a new parliament building, can you give us a guarantee, Mr. Reddy, that the will to legislate the people of this country who have voted in these members of parliament will change? That the lawmakers will make the law? Chengal Reddy, is that not a relevant question? I spend the money, I pamper you, I double your salaries, I give you a new parliament building. Tell me, Mr. Reddy,
yes,
what will change for the people of this country? What will change?
See, you see, one of the most disgraceful thing that is happening today in this country
in
is
1927.
people have lost confidence both in the parliament as well as the functionality of political parties. I want the BJP gentlemen to understand that, you see, in 1.5 years' time you have come. Please understand, the functioning of the parliament leaves much desired. In fact, if I were to say, your speaker is unable to control the parliament. See, not only that your BJP, even the other political parties are not able to come to understand, and so it's become some sort of a so bad behavior. I will ask you a very simple question, all these members of parliament. See, if some citizen commits a small mistake, he is immediately taken, there is a criminal charge, there is a nuisance case. How could you in the parliament behave in such a manner? The main point I want our members of parliament to understand,
that's a different
today we
debate
people
altogether.
are terribly disgusted the way the parliament is functioning. Most of the political parties is functioning. See, you have to change. See, it's not question of 100 crores or 200 crores. See, our country can afford to spend 1,000 crores to constructing any number of buildings. That's not the issue, Mr. Narsimha Rao. Kindly hear me, Mr. Narsimha Rao. You have to sit with the various political parties. You have to change the image of the political, all the members of parliament and working of the parliament itself. Today there is a serious crisis, Mr. Narsimha Rao. Don't blame Mr. Arnab Goswami or some newspapers writing editorials or passing on comments. See, today there is so much of crisis. Issues. Look at what has happened in the last few days. How could you not get GST agreed? How could you not get GST agreed? It is such an important issue, not for industries, even for us farmers, because we have to sell the produce across the country. There is something fundamentally wrong with the entire political parties, MPs, and the very functioning of the parliament itself. You have to, your people, those of you in the political system, you must learn to answer. And please don't say avoid or anything. I am not saying it's only BJP. Every member of parliament today must answer this question which is raised today in this debate.
Mr. Rao, I want you to have an open mind while we are debating this. I will ask you again, what exactly do you need a new parliament building for?
I agree with
I don't understand. You want a paperless building, you don't need a new parliament. These kind of actions.
But don't link it with a building.
No, the concern of the people of this country. I am. Why do you need a new building? Is there too much money in this country? Why do you need a new building? Why do you need a new building? Why do you need a new building? Sumitra Mahajan is not from the Congress party. Why does this government even consider the proposal to have a new building? Why do you think you need a proposal to have a paperless building? To have a paperless building, you don't need a new building. No, where is the idea coming from, Mr. Narsimha Rao? You see, what exactly do you need a new parliament building for?
That's not for me or you to judge.
It is certainly for me to ask. Certainly it is. How can you say that? How can you say that?
No.
Well, I certainly get questioned. I want a clear, convincing answer from you. You can't dismiss it by saying it's not for me to judge.
No, Mr. Rao, I must, Mr. Arnab Goswami.
I simply want a sense of accountability in our system.
I would only ask Mr. Arnab Goswami one simple thing. Mr. Goswami, you hold a referendum. You hold a referendum. Give 1 week time. I can assure you that 20 million people will negative this decision by the parliament. Don't say that simply political people.
I agree with you.
Parliament, you can decide. Today, we
agree with
give
you.
Our option. Only thing I am asking Mr. Arnab Goswami.
I agree with you.
Have some sort of a referendum. Give us 1 week time.
Arnab,
you will see what type of response will come from ordinary people. You please don't take it. Simply don't say that.
I think
can be decided.
I want to know whether they will. Whether this
You see. I need to. No. 1 second. Sanjay. No. Viewers, if you see our online poll, which I'll put on the screen right now.
1 year before elections.
No, Sanjay, they will not. The simple answer is they will not. All these and the absurd proposals, and Mr. Rao, the selfish proposals, the narrow-minded proposals, the proposals that only benefit the political class of this country are usually done in the first 2.5 years after a government is voted into power, in the hope that the people of this country will forget it as the election approaches. We, the people of India, have seen through this, Sanjay. And why Mr. Rao is getting bothered and hot under the collar tonight is because he's being asked a very simple question. I agree with Mr. Chengal Reddy.
No,
Mr. Rajesh, let there be a referendum. Let there be a...
I find this fallacious.
Well, I'll tell you why you shouldn't. Because you can't. If you find it fallacious,
I think it's. They sound
okay,
so
fine.
hollow.
You can use several other synonyms, Mr. You know, Mr. Rao, instead of trying to,
okay,
if it is hollow, let there be a one-on-one debate between you and me. Mr. Rao,
we have financed.
Mr. Rao, you are taking it personally.
At a cost of $90 million. We have spent $90 million.
Mr. Rao, if you can hear me.
To help
Mr. Rao, I don't want to speak over you, but I will be compelled to, Mr. Rao. Because please let it be made very clear that just because you are in power with 288 MPs does not mean that you can challenge the logic of the people of this country. Are you willing to have a referendum from the people of this country on whether we should have a new parliament? Let this matter be put to the vote. I don't think you can unilaterally decide. Tomorrow you'll say you will change the capital of the country. Will you be able to do that unilaterally? If you can't change the capital of this country unilaterally, then Mr. Rao, hear it from me loud and clear. You cannot take a unilateral decision. You as in no politician or group of politicians can take a unilateral decision because we have the numbers. We'll decide which parliament we want, when and where. This is the Parliament of India and you have no right to change it overnight, Mr. Rao. And Mr. Rajesh wanted to come back. Mr. Rajesh, come back into the debate. You wanted to say something to Mr. Rao, I think. Go ahead, Rajesh.
The government will take appropriate decision at
junk the proposal. Junk the proposal.
We have
junk the proposal.
We helped construct Afghan.
Junk the proposal.
Cost of $90 million.
Mr. Rao, are you willing to listen to the other side? Are you willing to listen to the other side tonight?
Can you control the debate?
M B Rajesh, please.
Can you control the debate, Mr.
M
Goswami?
B Rajesh is saying something to you.
Can you control the debate?
Mr. Rao, will you hear the others, please? All that you've been saying from the beginning of the show is that you disagree with the points that you expressed. But if any counter questions are put to you, you don't answer. Mr. Rajesh is responding. Go ahead, Rajesh. Go ahead.
Arnab,
you have asked me a question and you don't even allow me to speak.
And
can you control the debate?
Kind of pandemonium and disruption in this debate also. So now coming to the point.
Let Mr. Rajesh respond after that.
I have made it clear that our party is not for a new parliament building. Despite we are agreeing that there are some constraints, but still, this should not be the priority of our government or of our MPs at this juncture. So that's why we have said that we have clearly made it that this should not be the priority. Number two, I don't understand, despite I have made clear our position, why some of the gentlemen in the panel, they are making sweeping generalizations and they are saying that all politicians and all members of parliament are in support of this proposal. Deliberately they are saying this. I don't understand why they are saying this. So our position is different, and I don't agree.
Fine.
That
Mr. Rajesh, I take your point of view.
Raised here. Many other issues please. Many other issues you have raised here regarding the functioning of Parliament, and regarding the functioning of Parliament also. Our party, CPIM, and the left have never disrupted the Parliament without any valid reason. We have done we have been forced to enter into well only under extraordinary situations.
Mr. Rajesh, the problem with all MPs is they are speaking only for themselves. Mr. Rajesh, Mr. Rajesh. Mr. Rajesh. The problem is that you are looking at it from a party-specific point of view. Mr. Rajesh, you are looking at it all from a party-specific point of view. I respect where you're coming from, but you're not understanding the sentiment of the people of this country. The sentiment of the people of this country is out of 17 out of 20 days of the winter session, our Rajya Sabha MPs did not even spend the scheduled time in Parliament. 68 government bills are pending before the commencement of the winter session, 65 are pending at the end of the winter session. There is 62% productivity. Rajya Sabha works for a meager 51% over the winter session. What purpose will the new Parliament building serve when you took 1 month, one entire session of Parliament to pass 7 legislations? You need a new Parliament building to reward your Rajya Sabha MPs who passed 6 bills without even debating them in the House. Ask the people of this country, Mr. Rajesh, and they will say, we want to punish these members of Parliament, not reward them. And by the way, this is like some Mohammed bin Tughlaq plan. If I even read this out, this piece of paper, it is terrifying the logic of it. Mr. Rao, you're not understanding what it sounds like. The Parliament Speaker actually says the second option may be to consider 2 plots numbering 36 and 38, measuring.
Clear that we are not for a new.
I'm putting a point of view. Don't look at it, Rajesh. Rajesh, the question is not to you. The statement I'm making is to the viewer of the Newshour. What I'm saying to the viewer of the Newshour, and Mr. Rajesh, it's not about CPM. I appreciate where you're coming from. At least you're standing up to be counted. What I'm saying is, and I don't believe that this is happening in modern day India, Mr. Reddy. Somebody says, the Speaker says, you build a new Parliament building, remove the defense and Delhi police security barracks, and then build an underground link. Please read this. I'm not making this up. This Mohammed bin Tughlaq idea, you know, there's no other word to describe it. You know, here it is written, an underground link. That means some kind of a tunnel should be, Sanjay, can you believe it? Built below Rajpath, connecting the 2 complexes to be constructed to provide connectivity between the existing Parliament and the proposed new complex. I mean, where are these fancy ideas coming from? Can you believe it? Mr. Reddy, a tunnel that goes under Rajpath. So for the next 10 years, we'll see construction going on under Rajpath to connect a new Parliament building with an old one.
Corporate world with the political
and there is no public discussion or debate on it. Mr. Reddy's turn.
Where your
Mr. Reddy's turn.
Salary, your increment, everything hinges on
someone justify this to me.
With the number of abstentions, walkouts, disruptions, that some sort of the common man is entitled to ask a question for what? If it's a dangerous building, if it's dilapidated, then certainly here. If there are security concerns, address those. Not otherwise.
The functioning of the Parliament seems to have virtually come to a stop.
I put this, Mr. Reddy.
See, this is the whole system. It's gone wrong. Totally it has gone wrong. I think they are not capable of taking any decisions. Not only the political parties, even the members of Parliament individually. I mean, the way they are functioning, it makes us bloody. We feel ourselves sorry that this country is supposed to claiming all greatness. I mean, that's the way
one of the largest cities in the country just 2 weeks ago has unprecedented, bears the brunt of unprecedented monsoon fury, people losing their homes.
Why is that you didn't stand up and get GST approved in this Parliament? It is one of the most important decisions for the entire country's transaction, business and development.
These are questions.
I think
you are in the ruling party.
That we require.
The speaker is there. So the speaker would have asked
Mr. Goswami, are you going to
okay, Mr. Reddy. Mr. Reddy. Okay, we have one person on the panel who wants to defend it. Mr. Reddy, one second. Chengal Reddy. Chengal Reddy, AP Jithender Reddy is on the other side, and before you come in, Mr. Jithender Reddy, I will only say this. This is a crazy scheme. This is a crazy scheme. It is a harebrained scheme. It is a dangerous scheme. It is a baffling scheme. I don't know why anyone can seriously discuss it. You want to build a tunnel, viewers. We want to build a tunnel under Rajpath to build a new Parliament building and make connected to the old one. I mean, Mr. Reddy, which world are we in? Which world are we in now? Come on, reject it on the program tonight.
Mr. Goswami,
Yes, please.
Mr. Goswami, Mr. Goswami, now I have heard you all for last 15-20 minutes. I have not come in between, but now let me tell you few things. You see, you are, because there is press freedom, you are saying ridiculous things, you are saying Tughlaq, you are saying so and so words and everything on that. So just let me tell you one thing. What has really happened is, when we were sitting in the house, in the last rainy season, there were drops from the roof which fell into the house. And not only that, now if you see the rows where the MPs are sitting down, there are about 15 to 16 to 18 MPs sitting in the row. They can't even stretch themselves a little also. It is so congested. The gorgeous building was built 88 years ago by the Britishers. They for a limited number of people. They thought the Britishers...
Sanjay Pinto on the other side.
The Britishers thought that...
homes in
the Britishers... One minute. I'll come to that.
That is insensitive, sir. I'm sorry, sir. That is insensitive, sir. With all due respect.
I will come to that.
18 feet of water submerged people's homes. And you're talking about drops of water, sir. Sir, isn't that insensitive? I appeal to your conscience. With all due respect, people have lost their homes 2 weeks ago.
No.
You are talking about a requirement 10 years down the line. You are talking about drops of water, sir. People have lost everything, sir. I have lost everything in the city I come from.
I have my full sympathies on that disaster which has happened. That was a God's creation which has happened. And what I'm saying is, the government will definitely take care of those, the Chennai city, and I pray that the people of Chennai come back to their normal life also. But that is a disaster which has happened.
Mr. Reddy, Mr. Reddy, I want to show you something. Both your arguments I reject with all the force at my command tonight, Mr. Reddy. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why, Mr. Reddy. 1 second, Mr. Jithender Reddy. This is Arnab here. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. And by the way, I object to your saying. I object to your saying that just because we have press freedom, we have a right to speak. Viewers, please watch these pictures. You also watch these pictures. 1 second, Mr. Jithender Reddy is saying on the news. Yeah, I will come to you, Mr. Reddy. 1 second. But before that, let the people of this country watch the pictures that I will put on air right now. Let me put some pictures on air for a minute. Let me put some pictures on air. You see these pictures, Mr. Reddy. Yes, you listen to me, Mr. Reddy, but listen to me for one more minute. And I want 1 minute. 1 minute, I'll say something to you. No, Mr. Reddy, you can put your words, but after I finish, just 1 minute. 1 minute, Mr. Reddy. After that, I'll come back to you. Don't tell. 1 second. I need to respond to 3 things. I need to respond to 3 things. Sanjay Pinto, pull back. Jithender Reddy, pull back. 1 second. Jithender Reddy, pull back. Sanjay Pinto, pull back. I'm just going to say one thing. Now, tonight, Mr. Jithender Reddy says that the problem is that their roofs are leaking and water is dripping. Well, fix the leakage. You don't build a new parliament building for that. Point number 2, he says there isn't enough place to sit. Dear viewers, please see those pictures out there when Prakash Javadekar is standing along with Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi responding to the other side. You know, 2/3 of the seats are empty. And we are being told there isn't enough place to sit. You don't attend parliament. Half the MPs are not there in parliament. There isn't enough quorum. And you say there isn't enough place to sit. And you say the seating is congested. And by the way, I'm coming to you, Mr. Bhadoria, I'm coming to you. Just one more thing which I'd say. Sir, 2 things. First of all, you have no business telling me that I'm calling this a Mohammed bin Tughlaq land because I press freedom. Mohammed bin Tughlaq relocated the capital, and you know that he could never use the capital which he built it for. That is why it is used as a reference to when you say Mohammed bin Tughlaq plan, you basically mean it is a plan which is impractical. So I don't think that is meant as any insult. It's an observation of mine. This is not just impractical, it is expensive and not required. The problem with politicians like you is you are not used to being spoken to very clearly. I'm putting this, let there be a referendum today. Can this country afford a new parliament? What's the problem, Mr. Bhadoria? Let there be a referendum. Let there be citizens on the one side and politicians on the other.
Talking?
Well,
have a referendum on that. Have a referendum on that tape. Have a referendum.
You see, let us
have a referendum on it.
Of the debate on the issue is whether you need a new structure at all.
The people have voted 543.
Can I complete?
People have voted 543.
Let Mr. Reddy complete.
They are all public representatives. They are public representatives.
Mr. Reddy,
yeah,
Mr. Reddy, what is Sanjay Pinto telling you today? Mr. Sanjay Pinto.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
You listen to me, Mr. Reddy.
Mr. Goswami,
aren't you even understanding what Sanjay Pinto is saying? A few drops of water is nothing compared to those in Chennai who you claim you represent, who have lost everything in what happened in the city. A few drops of water. Ask the people of Assam who are flooded every year. Ask the people of Chennai who've been flooded this year.
I have already
ask the people who've lost their homes. Ask the farmers who are committing suicide. Ask those people who are on the base of bed, on economic brinkmanship. Answer them tonight and answer your conscience tonight. Few drops of water. Few drops of water on your head. What an absurd argument.
I have already said that. I have already said that. I have already said that is a disaster.
No,
I pray that it should not
your chief minister,
the people will be coming back to the normal life. But what I'm saying,
that's my appeal to you, sir.
But what I'm saying, you don't you just listen to me first of all and then tell me. I've been listening to last 25 minutes. Just let me put my point.
You listen to us, sir.
When you are saying about a referendum,
time people like you listen, Mr. Reddy.
543 people, Lok Sabha. Now, if you have to listen, then why do you call us?
543 people, so what?
You put that TV on.
1 second, Mr. Reddy. Don't show your intolerance, please, or your arrogance on the program tonight. We are asking you questions, Mr. Reddy.
You are asking a question, but you are not ready to listen to the answers. What is this type? So I am telling you, 543
You've not given one sensible reply till
who
now.
have been elected are elected by the people themselves.
Yes.
And then when the proposal was put up in all-party meeting, when it was conducted, and Speaker Madam has put up the proposal saying that today, as we have to move towards the modernization and also see that the lot of expense is being made on the papers.
Oh God!
We have got the internet.
Mr. Reddy,
there, so
Mr. Reddy, paperless parliament. Mr. Reddy, for your kind information, I want to tell you one thing. The problem with you, Mr. Reddy. Now you listen to me, Mr. Reddy. I heard you. Now you listen to me, Mr. Reddy. 1 second, Sanjay Pinto. 1 second. I want to say something to Mr. Reddy. Mr. Reddy, let me tell you something. Mr. Reddy, you hear me now? Will you hear me, or will you show intolerance on the program tonight? Will you hear me or show intolerance on the program tonight? If you're not going to show intolerance, then listen to me, Mr. Reddy. The fact of the matter is this, that in the United Kingdom, there is the Westminster. 1 minute, Mr. Reddy. Now you hear me. I want to share some facts with you. Westminster is functional since the 11th century. Okay? It is built on 8 acres of land. It can house 1,310 MPs, 760 from the House of Commons, 650 from the House of Lords. My question to you is, when there exists a building in the United Kingdom that has seen 900 years of wear, tear and erosion and continues to serve as a parliament house for a few repairs, if those members of parliament in the United Kingdom are happy with a 900-year-old building, what are you, some rocket age, space age members of parliament who can't work out of a heritage building? You want an excuse to spend money? You want an excuse to give contracts? You want an excuse to spend money? Why would you want to do that? Mr. Bhadoria, answer me.
This has been...
Mr. Bhadoria, yes, answer me. Answer me, Mr. Bhadoria.
What Arnab Goswami is saying. Please hear me out.
Yes, Mr. Bhadoria, sir. Mr. Bhadoria now. Mr. Bhadoria.
Please hear me out.
Mr. Bhadoria.
You see...
This has already been declared.
This parliament has been there for quite some time. You see the strength of, in the post-independent, let me complete, in the post-independent period, after 1947, when we have become a free and independent nation, this parliamentary institution, from the same building, you had a Constituent Assembly debate, you had Baba Sahib Bhimrao Ambedkar
carry through this whole task of making the constitution. The freedom speech on that day was made by the then Prime Minister from in the Parliament House. So therefore,
come to the point, sir. Come to the point.
Also goes back to the pre-independent days, where Bhagat Singh. Let me complete. I think this Parliament has a huge history. We should not do away with this. And let me also say this: you have since then. You have not added any much numbers of members of parliament. You have a parliament annexee, you have another parliament building, a huge building just opposite the Gurdwara Rakabganj, and you have enough space to even build a structure if it is needed. Why do you have to build tunnels to and then acquire so much land to in the Lutyens Delhi to make another building? I think that is wrong. What you need to do is preserve the essence of our constitution and democracy and try to function within the framework of the
but this is the proposition has been put. I propose that I want to go back to Mr. Rao, but I propose tonight, Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, that if they want to move ahead with it, they can't say that we are the parliament, we are the people of India, we have the majority, we will push it through. Shailesh Gandhi, if a proposal as dramatic as the one to have a new parliament building is being mooted, which we did not know about, which we know now that this letter is in the public domain, there should be a public poll or a referendum on it. Do you agree? It's like changing the flag of the country. Can you change the flag of the country tomorrow? Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, without asking people?
Do they want? My question
tomorrow you'll say we change the flag of this country.
My question is more fundamental.
Tomorrow let's say we change the national anthem.
Parliamentary system into some other system. My question is more fundamental.
Well, you ask Mr. Narsimha Rao. You ask Mr. Narsimha Rao. You can't change the flag, you can't change the capital, you can't change the national symbol, you can't change the national anthem, and you certainly can't change the parliament building. Yes, please. You ask that question to Mr. Narsimha Rao. Mr. Narsimha Rao, you would like to respond? What are the things you want to change? Is the question being put to you by the BSP? What else do you want to change?
They want to change the constitution as well.
We do not want any change in the constitution. You see, this parliamentary system is sacrosanct to us. It was brought about by Baba Sahib Bhimrao Ambedkar.
Nobody is changing parliamentary system.
We will not tolerate the upsetting of the parliamentary democracy in India.
Having an additional building,
we will not tolerating the change of parliamentary democracy in this country.
Let's make sense. Let's make some sense when we speak. We are not, nobody, by constructing a new building, you don't change parliamentary system of democracy. And people
you never know what are your designs. You never know, you never share anything with the opposition. You don't share anything with the opposition. We never know. You never share anything with the opposition.
My opinion is
because you never share anything with the opposition.
A new building has to build
until you can ask them to keep quiet.
In the same premises,
please ask them to keep quiet. I'll make my points.
Where all the decor is there, I think
so
that
do you need a
new building has to be built in the same parliament.
I think people are not concerned
not to move
whether
away
you
from that
build an additional building or not. People are worried about the functioning of the parliament.
People are concerned.
The non-functioning of the parliament is certainly a big concern to the people. If you build
you cannot
there are two parts.
You do not do
not something that Bhadoria really worried about.
You don't engage with the opposition. You do not engage with the opposition.
Mr. Bhadoria,
you don't do the proper floor management.
Don't change the entire building. That's what you're saying.
Mr. Bhadoria, you are not
making sense. My question is I
diverting from the main.
I need to hear something a little bit more convincing tonight. I need to hear something. No, Mr. Rao, I need to hear something a little bit more convincing.
Focus on the quality of debate that happens in parliament.
Sanjay, 1 minute. Sanjay, a minute. What are the... Mr. Bhadoria, will you stop it, please? Mr. Bhadoria, don't go into hyperbole, Mr. Bhadoria. Nobody is removing parliamentary democracy. But I disagree with the idea of having a new parliament building and removing the old one. And I think the concern stems from... You may not know, but I am aware of it. It's not about parliamentary democracy. Mr. Bhadoria, you are not going to right now, fight windmills on the Newshour tonight because it suits your political debate for Uttar Pradesh. This debate is not about the UP elections, for God's sake. Look at the bigger idea. The bigger idea right now, Mr. Bhadoria, is we don't need a new parliament building. There is a strong sentimental, emotional attachment with the existing parliament building. And if anyone, Sanjay, wants to remove that parliament building, they have to, Chengal Reddy, give us a better explanation than saying the toilets have to be shared, the roof is leaking, or the lifts are not working. I mean, this is a bizarre. Toilets have to be shared. Roof is leaking. There isn't enough leg space when we sit in Parliament, which is absurd. Or that the lifts are not working. These are the kind of arguments, viewers, that are being put through, and I'm baffled, amazed, and horrified that the proposal like this is actually going through. Yes, please, Chengal Reddy. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Reddy.
Mr. Arnab, all that I can say is Mr. Arnab, all that I can say is in the past few years, the parliamentary system is in serious doubts. That is, I'm not saying about the way of MPs are conducting, political parties are conducting, and the outcome of the results and benefits to people are in serious doubt. I think it is high time that the mass of people come out with some sort of a opinion. Now you see today, just now you are giving a rolling, saying 76 is against 24. No, instead all that I say is, give us 1 week time. Give us 1 week time, frame some questions, and ask people to show some sort of conduct a referendum with a couple of judges or eminent people. Then you will see how many millions of
yes,
of
Mr. Rao.
will come. So that some sense will dawn on these political people and the MPs and the other things. Otherwise, public has no confidence. But people have lost confidence in the very institution. See, I'm sorry. I'm a great democracy. I want my country to be a great democracy. But the way things are going on, it is not at all good. Please, you can help us. You do it, your own organization. You do it for a 1 week. Appoint some, say, 4 or 5 people and give us 1 week time. You see the results. I leave it to you. I leave it at that. That's all.
Well, I think I need a more convincing explanation. That's only a suggestion being put forth by Chengal Reddy. And yes, please. That who's into that? Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Shailesh Gandhi. Go ahead, Mr. Shailesh Gandhi. Go on.
Arnab.
Mr. Narsimha Rao, a few simple questions. Does the Constitution restrict the number of MPs to 552? To change wiring, do you need a new building? To do repair, do you need a new building? What is the reason for a new building? Please answer this.
And on top of
to
that,
open a paperless office, do you need more space or less space?
I'm sure you are aware.
No.
I'm sure you're aware.
Your problem right now, Mr. GVL,
on the number of MPs till 2026.
GVL.
Can you please answer my question, Mr. Narsimha Rao?
Lives with watch it. GVL Narsimha Rao. Are you not concerned that the members of parliament, the political class of this country, is being looked upon as increasingly elitist? I mean, in a country where Indians live with malfunctioning lifts, shared toilets, and leaky roofs, for you to say leaky roofs, shared toilets, and malfunctioning lifts are the reason you want a new parliament building, you tell us today, if we equip you with a new parliament building, will you be able to build a consensus, political consensus towards legislation? How will a paperless parliament guarantee lesser disruptions? How will technology tools prevent them from storming into the well of the house and needless sloganeering? How will Mr. Narsimha Rao answer me tonight? How will splurging more taxpayer money on a new parliament building help MPs take cognizance of the fact that common man's money is wasted every time Parliament fails to function?
Just will you please stop?
Also reduce chicken curry from
there is
25
no
rupees to 5
link.
rupees a plate.
I think it doesn't require any answer. People are concerned about non-functioning of Parliament. People are concerned about bills not being passed. These are serious concerns. They're very unhappy on this score. But people don't grudge. I think I can tell you from my own experience. People don't
How do you know?
bother.
How do you know?
How do you build an additional
How do you know?
or not.
How do you know, Mr. Rao? How do you know people don't grudge?
I understand public opinion.
Mr. Rao.
I understand public opinion.
How do you understand public opinion better than us?
And politicians.
How do you understand public opinion better than us, Mr. Rao? You may be a politician, but how do you understand public opinion better than us? I pit my point of view against you. Mr. Rao, it's not about politician batching.
No,
I pit my point of view against you, Mr. Rao. And I'm telling you, people in this country are not willing to double your salaries and a new parliament building.
People want.
No, I have a right to my opinion, but you can't say, yes, they want, but they want politicians to be accountable. They want politicians to be accountable for doubling their salaries and new parliament building. Can any one of you, Mr. Rao, can any one of you have a manifesto which says, in our manifesto, if we are voted to power, we want doubling of salaries of members of parliament and a brand new parliament building? I then want to see how many votes you get. You go into the next election and say our basic 2 points are our salaries will double and we'll have a new parliament. I want to see how many votes you will get.
You have picked the wrong
issue. It is a very big issue, Mr. Rao.
People are not.
You are not
worried about. People are worried about parliament not functioning.
People are worried about the way you're splurging money on yourself.
It is not the parliament.
I think
no, I don't think you do. With respect, I don't think you do.
Allow me to complete my statement. It can't be a one-way. It can't be a one-way. That's why I said it's a harangue.
It is the government which is non-functioning, not the parliament. It is the government which is non-functioning. You are not able to engage.
I think don't. What engagement?
Give me one
engagement for what?
You are not
what kind of support have you given on the floor of the House? You have behaved in the most irresponsible manner.
I'm asking you for more of this. Do you want a new parliament bill?
That is what is engagement. You are having an ordinance, Raj.
What engagement are you
having an ordinance, Raj. You don't call the opposition. You are having an ordinance. What did you do on the land acquisition bill? What did you do? Please tell us. What did you do on the land acquisition bill?
I think he is not prepared for this debate.
I don't think you're getting the point.
I know your intellectual depth. We know the intellectual depth of the BJP. Please don't tell me I'm not prepared for irrelevant
issues. Let's
no, it is relevant.
Mr. Bhadoria, this is not a BJP BSP debate. Mr. Bhadoria,
you are trying to
Mr. Bhadoria, I have warned you and I am warning you again. This is not about the UP elections, for God's sake. Sometimes understand the sentiments of people in this country. Sentiments of people in this. No, Mr. Rao, no, Mr. Bhadoria, the question is simply this, and I want one of the people, for example, let Mr. Jithender Reddy respond to this last question. Mr. Jithender Reddy, in Germany, there is a building which was constructed 121 years ago, which is not only much older than our parliament, but which also houses 630 MPs built in 1894. How come people in Germany are perfectly happy with it? How come people in the UK are perfectly okay? Do people in the UK say that, you know what, Westminster is 900 years old, let's build a brand new, let's not work out of Westminster anymore, let's build a completely brand new parliament complex. Do they say that? Mr. Reddy, and how come these unique demands are only coming in India? Because you believe you have some unique rights? Are you responsible to the people, or are you autocrats responsible only to yourself?
Let me tell you, when a building is built in India, it is the municipalities and the authorities, all they are certified the building for 50 years.
Now, what are you, Mr. Reddy, what are you saying?
They restore the building.
Mr. Reddy, what are you saying?
And then,
Mr. Rajesh is saying something. This is ridiculous. Of all the arguments I've heard tonight, this is the most unacceptable. Rajesh,
after
Indian buildings erode early, that's the argument.
After that, it is not habitable. It is not habitable. It is not habitable properly. It is totally on the how you restore the building, how you take the repairs and all. So what I'm trying to say today is,
then restore it, renovate it. Why do you want to build a new one?
And who have told you have sent as the representative. This is a proposal which has been sent given by the Speaker to all the members, and that is being looked into.
No, Mr. Reddy, exactly.
Let me tell you that
Mr. Reddy, Rajesh is responding, and then we are closing. Rajesh's turn. Rajesh's turn to close. Rajesh. M B Rajesh, go ahead, MB.
Arnab, there are far more important and immediate issues related to the functioning of Parliament rather than building a new Parliament House. There are some far more important and immediate issues. Number of vacancies of reporters are lying unfilled, and the reporters are struggling to do their job. And because of the vacancies lying unfilled, and they are unable to fulfill the job. Even the functioning of committee system is collapsing. So there are some immediate issues, including the unfilled vacancies of reporters, which is affecting the functioning of Parliament. So these immediate issues we need to address. So that's why I said that our priority should be the immediate issues, not building a new Parliament House. We had raised this. One of our MPs, CPIM MP, had raised this issue of number of vacancies.
Rajesh, that is being done. That is parallelly being done. It is not that the total money from all the countries is going to be put for the new parliament.
Mr. Reddy, Mr. Jithender Reddy,
always run.
I close by only saying this to you, Mr. Reddy. Mr. Reddy, Mr. Reddy, you said, no, Mr. Reddy, you said we are responsible to the people, we are accountable to the people. The problem with you and politicians like you, Mr. Reddy, is that you've forgotten that you're accountable to the people. You feel you're only accountable to yourself, and once in 5 years you will go for votes. Next time you go to your constituency, ask, the problem is,
there are school children sitting in the open under trees,
next time you go
and you are talking about people complaining about drops of water. That is a stark contrast in our country, Arnab, and that's such a pity.
Next time you go, one word I need to say to Mr. Jithender Reddy at the end, Sanjay, brief point to Jithender Reddy at the end. Mr. Reddy, next time you go to your constituency, go and ask yourself, how would you rather we spend our money? Should we spend our money on 7 crore, 10 crore rupee yagyas that go up in flames with unknown sponsors? Or should we spend our money building a new parliament building? Or should we spend our money giving the people a better life? Go ask the people, Mr. Reddy. Sometimes you will get an answer that you may need to listen to. Thank you very much for joining me on debate number 1. And I insist once again that let this issue be put to a referendum. Does this country need a new parliament building? We put this to a referendum. You can tell us what you think. We'll send your feedback. We'll send your feedback. Mr. Reddy, just go and listen. Think it over sometimes. Think it over. We'll send all the feedback that we get from our people. The hashtag is Parliament Demand. We'll collect your responses over the next 48 hours and then send it to Sumitra Mahajan so she gets a sense of how people of India think about this whole idea about a new parliament building. Completely bizarre, baffling and unacceptable. I thank you all for joining me on debate number 1 on the Newshour tonight. Thank you.